Hi there, Maria here from KUHN RIKON. Today I really want to show you some pressure cooking, and we're doing it in our KUHN RIKON DUROMATIC. And we're going to be making a vegan recipe, which is quite seasonal for autumn because we're going to be using a butternut squash along with a few other ingredients that are going to really have some strong flavor once you give them just 10 minutes in your pressure cooker. Now, in terms of the equipment that I'm using, today we're going to use a 5-litre pressure cooker. And as I said, it's the DUROMATIC Neo. So Neo is one of our ranges which gives you a little bit of extra guidance in terms of cooking time. So if you are new to pressure cooking, the Neo is a really great one to go for. So what we're going to do is I'm going to run through the ingredients first. So if you are someone who is taking notes, now is when to do so. So like I said, it's vegan. So this is a really, really healthy option if you're starting to introduce a little more kind of veg into your life. So what we have here is 1 whole butternut squash, which I've peeled and diced into about 1-inch cubes. We've got 1 large red onion, thinly sliced. We've got 2 tablespoons of oil, any oil of your choice, doesn't really matter. 1 teaspoon of ground cumin, 1 teaspoon of paprika or cayenne pepper or chili powder if you want it really hot, a tablespoon of tomato puree, 1 cup of vegetable stock, and then we have, I mean, this is a bit nuts, I've gone crazy, 5 garlic cloves. You can reduce that if you like, I'm just a big fan. And then 1 green chili. If you don't want it too hot, take the seeds out. Furthermore, we have 1 tin of chopped tomatoes and then 2 tins of black beans, which you want to rinse under the tap, drain and rinse so that they're ready to put in. And then I've got quite a generous couple of handfuls of coriander there. Now, these are all garnishes that you see over here. So this is when you're serving, you can add extra chopped chilies, you can add extra coriander, lime, and avocado goes really nicely with it. And it could be served with tortillas or with rice or even on a jacket potato, actually. But it's just really nutritious and vegan. So we're going to get started with just heating up our pressure cooker. Now, in the beginning, when you start using your pressure cooker, the base is very much a casserole pot, which you can use to saute or seal your meats or anything like that. So I am on an induction hob today, and I'm going to go medium-high heat to get the temperature up on the base. Now, there's a couple of really useful things. Inside, you've got markers that says 1/2 and 2/3. Now, the 1/2 full is what you want to aim for if you're doing something like rice. And the 2/3 is what you want to aim for if you're doing any other recipes. You don't want to overfill your pressure cooker. So again, if you're new to pressure cooking, just a couple of little tips. Now, while that's heating up, we're going to go in with our oil. So a couple of tablespoons. And we just want to get the heat up a little bit. And then I'm going to choose my cheeky spatula. So I pretty much put garlic, chili in everything, even in my bolognese. But the beauty of the pressure cooker is, in terms of energy saving, you're going to save about 60%. At the moment, that is a huge deal. So something that you might cook like a bolognese or like this vegan chili or a meaty chili that would normally simmer for a longer period, maybe 45 minutes, maybe an hour, we're reducing that time way down to about 10 minutes. So that's going to save you a huge amount on your bills, and it's going to make a big difference in terms of flavor as well, because it's a sealed form of cooking. That's going to make all the difference. So we've got a little bit of heat in there now. These will work on gas, electric, or whatever kind of stove or hob you have at home, but I am using induction today, and we're going to fry off our onions. So, like I said, it's very much a casserole at this point. So I'm going to go maybe just down a little bit on the heat and maybe just 1 minute or so. I'm someone who I like to keep the measurements quite simple. So from the beginning, everything was like 1 butternut squash, 1 teaspoon, 1 tablespoon. I just like to keep it simple. Obviously have a play with it. Add extra heat if you want. Add extra other vegetables. You could add grated courgette or whatever you like. So we're going to just give this about a minute just to soften a little bit and release some of those delicious aromas. And I've oscillated in my life between being vegan, pescatarian, vegetarian, flexitarian, a bit of it all. So I do really love having the variety of different ingredients that I don't normally cook with. So black beans is quite a rare one for me to use, and they taste delicious. So spice is going in next. The cumin, the paprika or the chili powder or the cayenne pepper, something just with that nice warm heat. And we're going to put the tablespoon of tomato puree, she says confidently, and then needs something to get it out. There we go. Perfect. So this is now getting some sizzle to it. So we need a little bit of liquid, and I'm going to go down with the heat. Liquid, I'm actually going to go, oh, wait, quick, my spice. I forgot about my spice, my chili and my garlic. I mean, the main bringing together of the flavors is going to happen in the pressure cooking anyway. So which order, oh, that chili's hitting me right in my throat. Which order you do it in is not the end of the world. Okay, chopped tomatoes. Gives you a bit of the liquid. And pressure cooking needs liquid. You would never pressure cook dry. So it's really important that you do always have at least 100 mils of liquid in there, no matter what you're doing when you're pressure cooking. Now, the extra liquid is my cup of stock. I'm gonna add that in and just give everything a stir. Give it a little bit of time as you add the cold ingredients to bring the heat back up. Instead of putting everything in all at once, you just wanna give everything a little bit of time to keep that heat up, keep it simmering a little bit, and then you're gonna whack the lid on. But if you think about something like this, which normally you would simmer for a long period of time, you could be coming home and grabbing some ingredients from your cupboard, popping them in, and in 10 minutes you've got a delicious meal that tastes like it's been simmered for an hour. You know, I don't have a microwave anymore because this kind of does all the things. You know, I just reheat, I just cook from scratch. So a little bit more heat on there. Now I want to go in with my black beans, give them a bit of stir. There we go. This could be served with rice. So if you wanted to pressure cook rice, you could just go to the app and just check the quantities for rice that are recommended by the KUHN RIKON app. And you could do your rice in the pressure cooker as well. But personally, I like the butternut squash as my main kind of carb or nutrition in there. So I actually just serve it with tortilla chips and some extra. Woo! So that's one whole butternut squash. And these ingredients are not too pricey. They're not going to break the bank. And that makes a world of difference. And also a lot of them are from the cupboard anyway. So maybe this could be something that you're just doing midweek to see you through. So we're just getting the heat back up now essentially, and we're just stirring to combine the ingredients. Oh, we've got an escapee. Hold on a sec. There you go. Right, now I can feel there's a little bit more heat coming in there. So there is also a little bit of liquid in there. Now, liquid-wise, you definitely want enough that it's going to pull the recipe together and not dry out. I'm only cooking this for 10 minutes and hardly any liquid is going to evaporate whatsoever. So, pressure cooking. We have this lovely seal and we have lots of safety mechanisms in KUHN RIKON pressure cookers. So you feel really safe and it's a very quiet experience pressure cooking with DUROMATICs. We've got a little valve here which is going to rise up to 1 or 2. I want it for this recipe at level 2 for 10 minutes. And there's a little arrow here. And the arrow I'm going to line up with a little arrow, which you can see on the handle. And then that slots into place and we're going to slide that closed. Now, this is turned from a casserole into a pressure cooker. So what's going to happen now is I'm keeping the heat at like a medium to medium high, just while I wait for the pressure to rise, and literally this valve will come up. Once you've achieved your level, whether it's level 1 or level 2, you're then going to whack the temperature way down, and that's where you're saving the energy because you only need a small amount of heat to maintain pressure in your cooker. So when you first get it home, if you are new to pressure cooking, just have a little couple of weeks getting to know how your heat source is reacting with the pressure cooker, and you'll get to know what numbers are best if you're on induction or what level of flame, etc. So now we are just going to hold off and just wait for a few minutes for that to come up. So once you've reached level 2 on your pressure cooker, then you can start your timer. So it's only when you achieve that you start your timer, 10 minutes. Okay. And 10 minutes is all it takes. So 10 minutes is up. Now, when your cooking time is finished, you want to turn the heat off completely. The heat is what controls the pressure, and we don't want any more pressure in your Duromatic. So you're going to want to take the heat off. So we've turned the heat off. Next, we want to release the pressure. Now, our little button on the top here is what releases the pressure on the Duromatics. If that button starts to get a little too hot for your liking, for your finger, then you can use a spatula or anything that is around. This is called a manual release. You are manually releasing the steam by pressing on the button. If the recipe stated to do a natural release, you would just be taking the heat away, taking the cooker off the heat and walking away and just letting it naturally come down as the temperature drops. So just so you know, this one is a manual release and it's a little quicker. It's good for veg because you don't worry about veg being tender. Whereas if you were doing a meat recipe, you would want a natural release because it tenderizes the meat. But if you go to one of our other recipes with meat in it, you'll see the details on that. So when the valve is flat, flush to the cooker, you know that it is without any pressure in it. And also we have really, really advanced and safe locking systems. So if there was any pressure in this cooker whatsoever, you would not be able to physically open it. I can physically open it, so the pressure is gone. And here we have our hearty, delicious 10-minute meal. We're going to give it a nice stir. So see, none of that liquid has gone anywhere. All you've got is flavor. All you've got is nutrition. And all you've got is a speedy meal. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to add a little more fragrance. I'm going to put some of my coriander in there, maybe just a healthy pinch like that. And a little extra for luck. And I love adding fresh herbs at the end. You can add them at the beginning and do a combo of both. It's up to you, but you can only obviously add flavors at the beginning of your pressure cooking process and at the end. So I like to put the fresh fragrance at the end because it gives it a little extra oomph. So we're going to give that just a little stir. And we're ready to serve, really. So I'm going to take that to the table, so to speak. And that is ready to eat. Seasonal, healthy, delicious, good on its own. You could have it over rice, you could have it with bread, you could have it with whatever pleases you. Bit of extra coriander, and I love having all these extra garnishes at the table because they allow people to add their own kind of preferences. So some people want extra spice, maybe some extra sliced green chilies. I like a bit of avocado for some creaminess on the side there. And you could even add a bit of sour cream, but there you have it. So Duromatic pressure cooked butternut squash chili. Now for the full recipes, you can go to our Facebook group, the KUHN RIKON Cooking Club. And that is where you will find daily posts helping you use your pressure cooker and also a weekly free recipe. So this will be included over at the Facebook group, the KUHN RIKON Cooking Club. I've been Maria from KUHN RIKON. Thank you so much.